Last time we worked with layers and learned how to move around our map and see what kinds of spatial information is in the Chesapeake Bay field scope. This time we will look at how you can interact with your map using the icon tools next to our scale bar. These are the drawing tools, flow path, watershed, and query tools. These are all accessible from our icons, and we see that the flow path, watershed, and drawing tools all can be accessed on our black tabs to the left. We'll jump in with a really super tool, the flow path tool. First we zoom out a bit and then select our satellite view from the base map. So let's say we were walking on the Appalachian Trail and wondered about a small stream we encountered. How does it make its way to the Chesapeake Bay? Click on the flow path tool, then our spot on the Appalachian Trail, and voila, we know its path to the Chesapeake Bay. Whenever we run our cursor over the flow path, it will turn bright red. Also, a ledger has started for all the flow paths we create. The distance of the path to the Chesapeake Bay has been calculated. We can also name them. Call this one Appalachian Trail. Let's make 3 other paths and we'll give them names: Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. This is really helpful when you have multiple paths and want to remember them. When you have multiple flow paths, you can click the column header to order them by distance or order them alphabetically by name. Note that if some are named with the first letter as a capital and others with the first letter as a lowercase, the lowercase letters will follow all the capital letters. When you're done with the path, you can click X to delete it, or click Clear List to remove all flow paths. Let us click way out west and see what happens. Uh-oh, where is our flow path? Remember from the Layers 2 video that only our base map layers expand beyond the Chesapeake watershed. This tool only works for spots inside the Chesapeake watershed, so it's a good idea to go to our layers and choose watershed boundaries and see the places you can use this awesome tool. Next we have the watershed tool, which allows us to see the sub-watersheds. The first thing you'll notice is that the watershed will always be in gray, but at least you can change the transparency. This green background will make it tough to see, so let's go back to our original terrain layer to get some contrast. When we create a watershed, we have the same setup as the flow path, but instead of length, we record area. And we can click on several different spots and see that we have all kinds of different watersheds. Some small, some large, some are inside each other, and those are sub-watersheds. This is a great way to understand what a watershed is about. Every drop of water that lands or falls in the watershed runs to a single point in the sub-watershed and eventually makes its way to the Chesapeake Bay. Next, we can make queries. We click on our question mark with the asterisk as the point, and this is our point query. Click on it and then a point on the map, and we get a gray box that says location details. It doesn't give us any location details though. The reason is because we don't have any layers activated. When we do queries in field scope, the query will inform us about the point for all the layers that are active. Let's open a few. We'll click Physiographic Provinces, State Boundaries, and Land Cover. The location details will give us the characteristics of that point, and under states, it gives us how many square miles of the Chesapeake watershed are in the state that we selected. Say goodbye to that one, and we will move on to the polygon. The polygon query is a question mark in a box. We click for each vertex, and when we have the polygon we want, double-click the last vertex to create the query polygon. Now this time we don't have the state and physiographic boundary because those are point features. But we have the area of the polygon, and what is really great is that we know what the breakup of the land cover classes is in the polygon. Now to combine tools, select the watershed tool and create a watershed. Then select your polygon query and apply it to the watershed. It now asks if you want to use the watershed as your polygon. Select Yes, and we get the same information as we did for the polygons we created. This aspect of the tool really opens up your queries. Practice making queries with the point and polygon query tools. You will discover which layer features are point characteristics and which are area. There is some overlap. By knowing which layers are related to points and which are related to polygons, you will be able to get the most out of these tools. We will leave our last polygon active and take a look at the Measure tool. You will notice the ruler, and to the right we have an arrow. This gives us the option to use kilometers or miles. Most scientific work uses SI units, but in the United States, we measure most distance in the English unit of the mile. Let's use mile this time and measure how long the base of our polygon is. Just like the polygon query, to stop measuring we need to double-click. We can create any shape with a series of straight lines, and we will measure the length of each segment as well as the total distance of the connected segments. If we click on the Navigate tool, we will clear out our measurements, and we can click off the text box from the polygon. Our last icon with the pen and squiggly line brings up our drawing tools. We will investigate these in the Drawing Tools video.